everybody. Thanks for the invitation to speak here today. It's a pleasure to be here. Kathleen Rousche, I'm with the Innovation and Commercialization Office at the Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. Matt McMahon gave a great overview this morning. Matt and I worked together for several years at the Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, so a lot of what I'm going to say is aligned to what Matt has already covered, but specific to heart, lung, blood, and sleep technologies. So what I want to talk about today is a little bit about the NHLBI and its mission, what our office does, and then the types of support we offer for small businesses and academic innovators. I'll cover some main grant programs, which you've probably heard of, SBIR, STTR, proof of concept center programs that were mentioned earlier, and a newish program from the NHLBI, launched around 2019, I think, the NHLBI Catalyze program. And then I want to spend some time, if you get a grant from us, we have a lot of wraparound support by way of supplemental programs you can apply for and tailored innovator resources. And along the way, I'll talk about some of the successes and outcomes of our programs and activities. So the NHLBI mission is aligned with that of the NIH to accelerate discovery to health, specifically for the prevention and treatment of heart, lung, blood, and sleep diseases. NHLBI has 4 strategic goals. We focus on all of them, but a special focus on the goals on the right, and that's to advance translational research and to also develop a workforce. This is the mission and vision of our office. We really want to speed the way technologies are getting into transitioned into biomedical products, with a vision that academic innovators and small businesses will understand how to bring those technologies forward. The 4 goals listed are to identify unmet needs in our space, improve diversity in our programs, lead training and education programs, and really see a return on the investments we make in funded technologies as measured by positive impacts in health. This is an overview slide of our office programs and services. We help both academic and small businesses. We offer a bunch of other funding once you get your grant. So academic programs, Matt mentioned earlier, are academic proof of concept programs, the NCI and REACH programs. We have the Catalyze program, which is our newer program for early stage technology development. The Catalyze program actually takes applications from academic institutions as well as small businesses, but they're not part of the federal small business program. And we also have a CAT Center, which is a point of care research technology center that also accepts academic and small business technologies. We coordinate the federal small business program, and that's your SBIR and STTR programs, and then offer additional support that support commercialization, accelerate commercialization, and target diversity. And then in addition to all the formal money or funding, we offer a lot of innovator support. And this is rolled out by way of advisory services, partnering opportunities, and pitch coaching. And we also have an innovator mentor network. One of the ways that we can offer this really tailored support is because our activities are driven by some unique staff. So we have federal staff in the office that helps to develop and manage programs. And then on the slide here, it shows our really specific, unique staff that work part-time, which is really helpful for us because they're part-time with us, and then they're part-time in the private sector, so we can leverage their resources and networks. I won't mention everybody by name, but we have expertise in areas that aren't typically, scientists aren't typically trained in the areas of health economics and outcomes research, reimbursement, investing, how to fund your company if you start one, regulatory strategy, navigating the FDA, clinical trial design, and intellectual property. So I show this slide just so you can see the timing of access to some of our resources. So on the left-hand side, you see that we offer application services. Definitely talk to us before you apply so we can take a look at your specific aims, see which of their programs will be appropriate for you. We have some formalized programs, and then we have, just guidance. Give us a call, and we can talk about what your company does, what your project is, and what's most suitable path forward. And then once you get your award, we offer a lot of support. Shown in pink on this slide is more services and activities, and shown in gray on the bottom are more the formal grant programs that you would apply to. And we also really try to, once you're at the end of your federal funds, help you make those connections so you can really start to partner and meet with investors for further development and private sector funding. So I want to start by saying a few words about the formal congressionally mandated small business program. In the past couple of years, we've had $1.2 billion for NIH, so that's a lot of money. This is non-dilutive funding through the Small Business Innovation Research Program and the Small Business Technology Transfer Program. The SBIR program is to small business concerns to engage in federal R&D with the potential for commercialization, and the Small Business Technology Transfer Program is to facilitate a relationship between a small business concern and a research institution, also with potential for commercialization. This is a phase program. I won't spend too much time here. There's phase 1 for feasibility, phase 2 for full R&D, and for phase 3 would be commercialization. NIH does not participate in commercialization, but we do offer additional bridge awards, phase 2B awards, that help you get from phase 2 through to commercialization. This shows the NIH total SBIR's TTR budget allocations and what it is for each of the 24, I think, participating institutes and centers. For the Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, we have $120 million. And typically over a given year, like right now, we have 300 and some active projects. This shows the pie chart for the technology type distribution. So you see over about 60% are therapeutics and supportive devices. This changes over year. It just has to be in our mission. We don't have to have a certain percentage of drugs, devices, that sort of thing. But you just have to fall within our mission space. Which is, so I sit in the Division of Extramural Research Activities, so it's science agnostic. So we coordinate the small business program and other translational programs, but we work really closely with our scientific divisions of heart, lung, blood, and sleep. This slide lists some of the major diseases and disorders that we target, and the full list can be found on the website. What we don't cover is any heart, lung, blood-related cancers. That would be the Cancer Institute. This slide was shown earlier. It's kind of the funding ecosystem from basic research and discovery through to sales and distribution. Why would it be important to seek this SBIR's TTR funding? As Matt mentioned earlier, that's America's seed funds, the largest funding source of early stage life science capital in the US. We provide seed funding for innovative technology development. There's no repayment required. This is a loan. If you generate IP, through your company, the rights are retained by the small business. NIH doesn't want any stake in that. Because this goes through a peer review process, there's validation of what the project is, and you can use this federal funding to leverage other funding and collaborations. Certain eligibility rules do apply. You'll need to check those out, but the award always goes to the small business. Has to be organized for profit, 500 or fewer employees, work done in the US with a few exceptions, and over 50% US owned by individuals, or a couple other scenarios you can fall into as well. There is some prep on the small businesses side to get ready to apply to the NIH, so you want to make sure that you get your 5 registrations well in advance before you're ready to submit, because this takes a long time, can be a little bit stressful. This shows a quick comparison between the SBIR and STTR programs. SBIR does permit partnering, whereas STTR requires the small business to partner with the research institution. For small business innovation research, the PI has to be at least 50% employed by the small business. And for STTR, the PI can be employed by either the company or the institution. And then there's some work requirement guidelines between the two programs as well. Somebody asked about the application cycles earlier. These are the omnibus due dates and earliest project start dates listed here. Depending on when you come in, whether it's January, April, or September, it does affect the length of time for which you're going to be funded. So you want to take a look at estimated funding dates if you're on, a certain timeline, and make sure you decide which round you want to come in at. Also glad I included this. Somebody had asked a question about the time to award and what's going on. So it's about six to 9 months here on this slide. So you submit your application, it goes to the Center for Scientific Review, goes to the study section, and you will get some information and feedback about how you fared in the study section after about 4 months. And then there's other hoops we need to jump through as far as getting the funding actually approved by our councils, getting your information we need to fund you, and that takes another couple of months. So it is a timely process. We are trying to, not cut corners, but cut time where we can, and this is where we sit right now. This shows the current omnibus funding opportunity announcements. There's for STTR, SBIR, with and without clinical trials. So what these omnibus opportunities are investigator initiated. So we also put out very targeted opportunities for small businesses, and these are, for specific areas of unmet need where we'll release a funding opportunity announcement for which you can apply. There's several listed here. I'll go into a couple of them in the next slides, but we have the bridge awards that help go from phase 2 to commercialization. We have commercialization readiness pilot programs. We participate, if another institute puts out a funding opportunity that we are interested in also at Heart, Lung, Blood, and Sleep, we can sign on to what they're doing and also be involved that way. And then there is something else called a notice of special interest that you'll see come out. This is an area where we have a scientific interest, and you can apply, say there's one for maternal health here. So if you have a technology that targets maternal health, you would apply to the omnibus, but there's somewhere you can check, that you're responding to a NOCI that was based on an area of need for our institute. So I'd like to go through some of these targeted programs, supplemental programs, and then end with some of the tailored product development support resources that our office offers. Commercialization programs include I-Cord NIH, C3I, and technical and business assistance. We have awards to accelerate commercialization through our phase 2B and commercialization readiness pilot. We offer diversity supplements, and also we have another program that is prior to applying, the applicant assistance program that helps you kind of frame your phase 1 application. We have more specific programs that are the Catalyze and NCI REACH proof of concept program, and then tailored advisory services. So this is a little bit about the phase 2B bridge program and the phase 2B small market program. These are grants that are going to help innovators meet regulatory milestones and also connect with investors and strategic partners. The small market program in particular, it's hard to get investment in those areas, so this is specifically designed for rare diseases and pediatric indications. These grants provide up to $3 million total cost over 3 years, and they do have a matching component expected. For the Bridge Award, it's a 1-to-1, non-federal to federal funds, and for the small market, it's 1-to-3, so 1 non-federal to 3 federal. This isn't a large number of awards that we support, but it is another opportunity if you have technologies that are ready to go towards commercialization. We do have a receipt date coming up, February 28th for this, and January 25th, there is a phase 2B program informational webinar if anybody's interested. So here's a couple supplemental programs where if you get the grant, you can apply, for these extra programs. The I-Core program at NIH, this was launched in 2014 based on the lean startup methodologies. Customers are required to go out over an 8-week period to talk to customers. Scientists aren't necessarily used to doing this, but you really need to understand your end user and if there's a fit, in the market for your technology. This is open to current phase 1 and early stage phase fast track awardees. There's 2 receipts for I-Core a year. The next due date is February 1st. So if you have an existing grant with us, you can apply for an I-Core award, and it's about $55K for course registration and travel expenses. Concept to Clinic program is C3I and Educational C3I, or EC3I. This program is run by the Bioengineering Institute, and for the education program, it provides 10 weeks of entrepreneurial training. This is only open to non-small business grantees, and the other program, the C3I, is for validation and execution. This is 24 weeks of entrepreneurial training. This is open to both small businesses and non-small business awardees. Technical and business assistance. You can apply for this when you submit your phase 1 or phase 2 grant. You can also apply to, if you didn't include it in your grant, you can still get some money through NIH to do these types of activities. This program supports some activities that aren't typically covered under your grant. For example, assistance with product sales, intellectual property protection, what is the market research and validation, competitive market, development of regulatory plans and manufacturing plans, those types of activities. Diversity supplements are a really important additional program to our existing parent grants. You can, this provides financial support, salary support to hire early career scientists so that we can diversify the NIH workforce associated with our companies. The candidates receive entrepreneurial training, scientific training, and they get real-world experience working for a small company. And the company obviously gets the talents of the candidate they hire. And in addition to salary, you know, the award can cover travel and supplies for the hired candidate. Eligibility criteria are that you have to have an active small business award. The candidate must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. And we have, I think we funded 26 diversity candidate supplements. You can have more than one, by the way. We have, you know, if one company, you can have more than one diversity supplement awardee. But I think we funded 26 since 2018. And our candidates have become, you know, the lead software engineers, the chief regulatory officers for the company, chief scientific officer for the company. So it really is a good program and opportunity for the candidates. This is that applicant assistance program, and this is a pre-award opportunity. It's available to people who have not applied to NIH or have applied to NIH but have not yet gotten funded. The idea is to increase the number of applications as well as decrease the number of errors in those applications so that hopefully the review score will be a little bit better. Awardees receive a mentor, you know, to talk about how to frame your application, what's your story, what are the program application parts, or the grant application parts that you want to address so that it's understandable to the reviewers. This comes 3 times a year leading up to the small business applications. Next due date hasn't been released yet, but anticipated in May of 2023. And like I said, the AAP provides application prep support and review, specific aims review, and how to navigate, you know, the process of submitting through all those registrations, that sort of thing. Does not provide a grant writer, research plan development, or the registration activities themselves. So now I'd like to switch and talk about the couple of more formal programs, the NIH Academic Proof of Concept Center Network and the NHLBI Catalyze program. So this was explained really well a little bit earlier, but we funded the initial NCAI NIH Centers for Accelerated Innovation was funded by the Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute in 2013. That was a 7-year program. In 2015, a sister program was launched called the REACH program. This was a trans NIH program, so it was available to any technology, you know, across the NIH mission. And because we, NHLBI, had managed the NCAI program, we were asked to manage the REACH program in 2015. And in 2019, another REACH program was launched. So we've been managing the NCAI and the REACH at NHLBI in coordination with Matt in the seed office. And like he said, we also added the NIGMS accelerator hubs. The hubs were designed to provide entrepreneurial education initially, and then provided technology development funding. But this whole network, has grown since 2013, and we really work together with the leadership at each of these awarded hubs. We have program steering committee meetings that involved all of these programs. And what we're trying to do is really pull the best practices for early stage academic technology development to develop a scalable model and best practices. So this I managed for many years before my current position, so I have a lot of interest in it, and it's been really fun to learn about how to do this and see all the companies formed and doing well. The model is that you take a technology, you surround it with everything it needs to be developed to validate the business and the commercial potential of it, with the hopes that it'll be licensed out or form a small company, and then that would feed our small business program. Some of the highlights of this model are that the sites had to match the federal funds with non-federal funding 1-to-1. We expected project management, so the technologies were, for the innovators, had to tie their budgets to milestones, which isn't something they were always used to, but it's a very effective way of managing a project. We had expert feedback for all of the applications coming through the sites, and we had FDA, CMS, Patent Office weighing in on these applications and their commercial potential, and we had a required entrepreneurial education and training component. I think Matt, used an updated, I think Matt used the outcomes, indicators of success from 6 months or so ago, so these are the updated numbers as of the other day. So 419 projects were funded, 121 startups were formed out of those 419 projects. Over $2 billion of follow-on funding is, we crossed that threshold recently. About 1.8 of that goes to heart, lung, blood, and sleep technologies. We've had 8 regulatory approvals. I think the number of SBIR applications, STTR applications is about 150 or so, with 63 awards. So that percentage of success in winning that grant is really, as Matt said, about three plus times what it normally is for technologies, say, coming in off the street that weren't developed in this type of model. So a bunch of licenses, a bunch of options, over 3,700 academic innovators trained with entrepreneurial education. And the entrepreneurial education we weren't very prescriptive, so some of it is very broad, some of it is very tailored, to specific innovators, but we've touched, a few thousand people through this, with 86 jobs being created. I also wanted to mention the coming out of this proof of concept model is the PACE group. And this is the Proof of Concept Network Action Committee on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And this group self-assembled out of all of our hubs, and it's the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Access Working Group for the Proof of Concept Center. So that group works collaboratively with the NIH, thinking about ways that we can better improve diversity and access to our programs. And they identify resources and best practices to promote this diversity with our innovators. This is an open group. They're interested in ideas, so they're on LinkedIn. The name right there is what their name is on LinkedIn. So if you're interested or if you have ideas of how to do this, we would love to hear. So the REACH was the new funding opportunity for the third REACH. Was just published. This, again, is a trans-NIH program. NIGMS this time is going to take the management lead, but we'll have input from 23 other centers that participate in this program. This opportunity is very similar to the old opportunities. There's a little bit more focus on serving innovators from diverse groups, and also partnering with institutions that have in the past have little NIH support or experience. This due date is coming up, February 9th. That's if you want to be a lead institution. Now, once these sites are set up, they're going to have solicitations for technologies that come through the sites. So you'll have your sites awarded, and their first job is going to be to put the infrastructure together to develop individual technologies, make sure that they have the business and commercialization expertise within that center or hub to help the innovators. And then they do a broad call for innovators, usually in their ecosystem, to submit individual technologies. So that might be an opportunity. If you're not going to apply for the lead award, you may be able to interact and have something funded through that award. So when NHLBI launched the NCII program, it was a 7-year program, and it's completed now, but at that time, we didn't know if it was going to be renewed, and it wasn't. In fact, it kind of came through as we can fund things through the REACH program, so we didn't actually re-release the NIH Centers for Accelerated Innovation. So over the past many years, since early on, when NCI was originally funded, our institute was trying to think of a way to continue to support translational research. And this was an activity that took years. So we have heart, lung, blood, and sleep, and we'd have a bunch of one-off programs. So if you had a lung translational program and you were a cardiovascular investigator, you couldn't access that program. So we took, as we thought about how to support translational research moving forward, we looked at the NCI program, we looked at the REACH program, we looked at all of the other one-off translational programs in our institute and tried to pull out the best practices, what was working, what wasn't working, and we ended up launching the NHLBI Catalyze program as a solution. And the NHI Catalyze program is a comprehensive suite of support and services to help translate basic science discoveries into products or forward towards products. And it's heart, lung, blood, sleep agnostic, right? So you can come in with any type of project as long as it falls within our mission, as long as it's translational in nature. And also part of the Catalyze program was to provide entrepreneurial education to develop the workforce. The strategy is shown here to provide funding for therapies, devices, diagnostics across the translational science continuum. You could be earlier stage, you could be in the middle, you could be later, but the idea was that it wasn't just, okay, here's your money, and then you finish your project and you're sort of left like, okay, what do I do next? It's really meant to have the arms wrapped around it so that the innovator understands where they're coming in and what are the possibilities of where they're going to go after the Catalyze funds end. So it helps to support scientists in reaching milestones to move their projects along, has a big educational component in the science of the project as well as the marketing, commercialization aspects of the projects. Helps to help innovators not have to worry about a lot of administrative activities, but to understand, to focus on the project rather than the administration of projects and spending a lot of time figuring out where they're going to go next. It's a quick kill or pivot idea where, if it's not working, let's redirect the funds and use it to something else. Is there something better? Different direction to go. This shows the Catalyze components. There's a lot going on here, but like I said, you can be, as an innovator, you could be at any one of these steps and need support. So from concept through to clinical trials, we support product definition and preclinical activities. The preclinical portion has taken a little bit longer for us to launch. It's it's had a soft launch, and it's set to launch in the next couple of months here. So activities falling under preclinical, you should soon be able to apply to. So there's 4 major areas: targeted, drugs, biologics, enabling technologies, and devices and diagnostics. This shows the specific funding opportunities with the RFA numbers if you're interested in taking a look at them. But enabling technologies is just one RFA, and then the small molecules and biologics and devices and diagnostics are 2 parts. There's a R61, R33 phase grant. If you're a little bit further along, you can come in right for the R33. This program has special requirements, kind of like the proof of concept center programs, in that you have to, we want the projects to be managed, industry, milestones. We want the the innovator to think about the intellectual property and regulatory strategies, even if you're not quite sure what it is, because if it's not right, we can have somebody in our team kind of help to guide you on where you might want to be. There is also a matching funds expectation for the later stage projects, and we wanted the innovators to work with accelerator partners so that somebody was on the team that could advise on a commercialization path forward. The great part of Catalyze is we have RTI International on board. We work with their innovation advisors, and all this expertise is either at NHLBI or with our RTI partners, so that the innovator is really supported in different areas so that we can, hopefully increase success of that project. This is information on how to, get more information on Catalyze. If you want to take a look at that. So I want to circle back to really the specialty in my office. And it's an incredible team, and I'm really grateful that we have all these people on board. And this slide shows really their major areas of expertise of my special advisors and what they can help our innovators with. And you don't have to be a small business. You can, as long as you're an NHLBI awardee, you can call us and connect with one of our expert staff. But they work together as a team and individually to provide whatever support you need. So for intellectual property, for example, they're going to ask you what your strategy is, help you understand, do you want US, ex-US, what type of protection do you want, for whatever you're developing. And then I won't go through them all, but for regulatory and reimbursement, what's the regulatory pathway? What do we need to do? Who's the end user? Is somebody going to reimburse patients for this? Because if they're not, then you might want to rethink what you're doing. So the non-scientific aspects of bringing something to market is what this team really deals with. So you can have one-on-one consultations in those specific areas. We also put together a mentor network. The mentor network is made up of external product development experts. They're not on staff. They're just people that want to give back, or they're interested, kind of in the mission of the NHLBI and the small business program. So we do have a small amount of people that we use as outside mentors. We're trying to revamp this mentor network right now, so if you're interested in participating, please see me. We launched a mentor webinar series recently, so just talk about things that why do you even want to mentor? Why is it important? So we have a couple of webinars planned for early, I guess, up through June of this year. So we don't have the information on those yet, but we do have a newsletter. So if you want to sign up for our NHLBI newsletter, we can send you information of whenever we do these types of activities. So another major thing that expert team does is they help with partnering opportunities and pitch coaching. We offer our small businesses an opportunity to go to meetings like Angel Capital Association. We had 3 women-owned small businesses pitch yesterday at the RESI meeting. So we pay for the registration, and a month or 2 leading up to that meeting, that whole team pitch coaches. So they're talking about what the potential partners or investors want to hear about, right, within their pitch deck. In addition to sending companies to a meeting like RESI, for those types of meetings, we kind of coach them up, and then we let them, go on their way and do their pitch and ask them how it went. The other opportunity we offer to our small companies is innovation showcases, I guess we call them. And these are where we, NHLBI, organize with a partner like American College of Cardiology or the American Heart Association. And we partner with them and say, hey, we have a bunch of companies that are ready to pitch. They're looking for investors. And we'll bring 4 or 6 companies, and we'll also talk about our resources. And we'll have time at those meetings to do a presentation. So that's the other way that we offer some pitch coaching and opportunities for our companies to get out there and meet partners. This shows that in 2022, we supported 12 different events and pitch coached 41 companies. We had 4 new partnerships last year, which was really fun. We partnered with our colleagues at the Neurological Institute to send companies to the International Stroke Conference. So I think we had 8 companies total, some NHLBI, some NINDS, some that had been funded, by both institutes. We went to the Life Science Women's Conference back in September, had a new partnership with the Heart Rhythm Society for HRX Cardiovascular Digital Health this year, and also the Respiratory Innovation Summit. So a lot of what we do is, we give you a grant and we can coach you to go somewhere, and we are part of the continuum, right? We're not going to give you, buckets of money to eventually get you where you need to be, but it's about a lot of little wins for us. And this shows just some of the value add and outcomes of what we're doing. At the Angel Capital Association Summit in 21 and 22, we had 2 NHLBI companies selected as pitch finalists, and this meant that after the initial pitch, they could do a deeper dive with some of the Angel Capital Association members. Last year at the American College of Cardiology, we had an NHLBI company win the pitch competition, and they got free registration in a booth for this year's conference. At September's 2022 HRX meeting, our company won the grand prize, so received $30K coming out of that pitch competition, and we helped them get ready for that meeting. And then below that are some of the quotes from our companies, talking about how useful getting coached from our team was, and how it really helped them position their company in a way that they could move forward. And the one that's outlined in the green box, I think it was from the International Stroke Conference. They met an angel group, this doesn't happen very often, but they met an angel group at the meeting, and that angel group ended up providing $325K, half of their seed round. So it's the little things like this that keep our companies moving along. So if you are funded by us, make sure you avail yourself of these resources, because there's a lot of them, and they're pretty important for our companies. So moving forward, we'll continue with our existing partnerships if it makes sense for both us and our partner, American Heart Association, College of Cardiology, Stroke. And we're also always looking for other partners who might be appropriate to advance our mission. So Kwame Ulmer is one of our entrepreneurs in residence you saw on the screen. He's a co-founder of MedTech Color Organization, and that is an organization that is building a community of Black and brown leaders in the medical device industry. So they actually have a pitch competition open right now, so you have 3 more days to apply to that if you meet their eligibility requirements. So we did an outreach webinar recently with MedTech Color, and just for awareness, and we pulled in the seed office and a couple other institutes, just so that people know we exist. So it's kind of, a lot of this is connecting the dots and making people aware of our resources, right? One of my other entrepreneurs in residence she's a co-founder of the SBIR organization. This is Society for Health Economics and Outcomes Research. We're working with them to analyze data, see what NIH is funding, in a health economics and outcome research. And for last year, we were on a panel at the SBIR meeting, because not all those folks are familiar with NIH, and this year we applied for another digital health panel. Also have engaged with Springboard Enterprises. This is an organization that is targeted to women-led companies. So again, awareness. A lot of our NHLBI companies, or several, have gone through a Springboard. They offer mentorship and certain opportunities for their companies. And it'd be great if more companies would come to NIH if appropriate, and the Heart, Lung, Blood Institute. And more recently, and the colleagues are in the room here, we have a webinar coming up on the 18th with the New York Blood Center. So the New York Blood Center does a lot more than blood, as their name implies, but one of our companies, let's say a couple years ago, got connected to the New York Blood Center and was able to eventually receive some seed funding from the New York Blood Center. So we're always looking for partners. So if anybody's interested, looking for mentors for our mentor network, and the Proof of Concept Center network is looking for people who are interested in their diversity and equity group. So this is a list of kind of hangouts that we've done over the years. They're a little bit dated, but the content is still appropriate. This is a list of helpful resources for applicants. There's a lot of, there's redacted applications, there's how to do this, how to do that, how to see if your project has been funded or something like it has been funded by NIH in the past. So lots of links, but really the best thing to do is reach out to whatever institute, is a good fit for your technology, talk to somebody and get an idea of the best way. Different institutes operate a little bit differently, so just figure out where you need to be. If you came to me and you're a blood cancer, for example, I would connect you to the right program officer over in the Cancer Institute, and the other institutes do the same thing. So call us early, call us often. We're here to help you figure out really how to get your great ideas out there. There's some contact information for NIH and the NHLBI. So thank you so much.